Tonight at 9 o'clock on the SEC Network, debuting is Wuerffel's Way, a documentary on Danny Wuerffel, the former Florida State quarterback, eventual Saints quarterback. Jim Jordan is the director of this film. Jim, why did you do a film on Danny Wuerffel?
Well, not many times do you find a person who uses his athletic career to do such good things, and that's what happened with Danny. When he was with the Saints, he discovered this organization called Desire Street Ministries that serviced the Desire Street area in New Orleans, which at the time was the second worst, largest crime-ridden housing project in the country. And so his story of what he did there, and then being the 10-year anniversary of Katrina, just made a story that jumps out to us and a story we wanted to tell.
Now, yeah, this Desire Street. Sorry, I have never heard of it before I started researching your film.
Yeah. Back when it was at its largest amount of people, it was 30,000 people in a very small area, and they had only one basketball hoop and two swing sets for 30,000 people and all those kids. Can you imagine? Just everybody just packed in that area.
That's crazy. Wuerffel's Way tonight on the SEC Network, 9 o'clock. Make sure to check it out. Director Jim Jordan joining us now. Jim, what's the one thing that you took away from directing this film that you'll carry with you forever?
Well, I think that we have such a need in this country to help other people. And, where you were, everybody remembers where they were when Katrina came and then what happened in New Orleans afterwards. And 10 years later, that area still needs help. And that's what really surprised me, is that there's still a lot of homes that are non-livable, and there's still a lot of just bad conditions around there. And so, we really can do a lot to still help the people in this country, and that's what really made the biggest impression on me in the film.
Yeah, I mean, here we are 10 years removed from Katrina. You talk about how, things are still in need of help. What are we going to take away from this? Like, I remember Danny Wuerffel primarily at University of Florida, winning the Heisman, being picked by the Saints. Like, I remember his career. What am I going to take away from this? You said he's the guy who's helping rebuild things. What is that one thing that I'm going to go, dude, Danny Wuerffel's a dude. I like him.
They had a school there that they started for boys from 7th to 12th grade. And it gave a lot of kids the opportunity to not only to graduate from high school, but to go on to college. And so after Katrina came, a lot of people from that area were just dispersed all over the country in shelters and so forth. And so Danny and his wife and the rest of the staff at Desire Street, they found all those kids. There were over 100 students, and they found them, and they all brought them to a camp in Florida so they could continue school. And that's a part of the story that really nobody's heard of. And just to think of what they had to go through to go find those kids all over the country. They went into shelters wearing pink shirts that said Desire on them, and they found every single student. That was an incredible feat.
Wuerffel's Way, presented by Chick-fil-A, 9 o'clock tonight on the SEC Network. Producer Jim Jordan joining us now. Director, excuse me.
Jim, when I watch this, the historic footage, how much am I going to cry?
It was, we wanted to tell, when we started you'd think that in a perfect world we'd go, oh, we have this footage from 10 years ago and we can tell this story. But that's not the way it came about. We were just going to do the story and just talk about Katrina. And then we realized that a ESPN crew 10 years ago had gone and documented almost the whole thing. And so it was like having a time capsule right there. At the beginning of the show, you see him go through the school that's just been totally destroyed by the hurricane. And later on, you see him go through his home. And so it makes it very real. So it's a very special opportunity when you have footage like that where you can kind of relive the moment, and that's what it does in this film.
Armen and Levack, 104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports, joined by director Jim Jordan of Wuerffel's Way tonight on the SEC Network at 9 o'clock. Jim, how is Danny doing? He was diagnosed in 2011 with a rare disorder that causes paralysis. How's his health?
He's doing great. An interesting part of the story, and we didn't have time to tell everything, so we didn't tell this portion of the story. But he, after Katrina, what Desire Street did is it went and started little branches of its ministry in other parts of the country, really kind of helping places that were already established. Kind of like he went from being maybe a player or a coach to being like a general manager. And so he happened to be in Montgomery, Alabama when this disease came on, and it was one of the few places in the country where they had all the medical attention he needed right there under one roof to take care of him. And so he got an early diagnosis. He was able to overcome it, and he's doing just great. He's in great shape. He exercises. He plays golf. He's doing pretty well.
Jim Jordan with us, director of Warfels Way, tonight on the SEC Network at 9 o'clock. Jim, thanks so much for your time today. We'll be watching tonight. Looking forward to it.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.